confidence will not build itself up. Confidence is not something that will appear, just overnight for you. You won't be hit in the head with confidence all of a sudden. Today I'll be covering with you the one tip I can give you to get over any type of shyness that you have. To say I was a shy kid would be an understatement, but I got over all of that, and I'll be sharing that with you. Now, before we get into the story, I want to let you know that every single week we do come out with tons of content on tips and tricks for your life and your sales career. So if you feel like we've earned it, subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video. So let's get to this story. So before we get going, you have to understand that before getting into real estate, I was working as a receptionist for a real estate office. This was before I got my real estate license. And I can still remember being at that desk and having to make that first phone call. My boss at the time, Jean, told me, I need you to call these clients and just book a showing for this appointment that somebody wants to show the property tomorrow. So I remember looking at the phone and being like, oh my God, just all these things going through my head. Oh, they're gonna pick up the phone. They're gonna be angry I'm calling them. It's dinner time. And I just had this fear of speaking with people. And I know a lot of people have that too because they've shared it with me. But eventually just got over that, picked up the phone, made the phone call, and it wasn't that bad. A few months down the road, I ended up getting my real estate license, and I was encouraged by the same boss to go out and go find some listings, some real estate clients for the business. And one way of doing that was to go out and door knock, go from door to door and knock on neighboring properties and try to find a new listing for our company. And I still remember heading out of the office, driving to a specific street in Orleans, Ontario, and running over the script in my head of what I would say when I would walk up to the door. I ended up getting to that street. The specific street is Falcon Crest in Orleans, Ontario. If you're local to Ottawa, you might be familiar with that street. Very nice street. And I got to the street, I parked my car, and I pulled out what would have been an early version smartphone. It was a Palm Trio, for those of you that remember. And I said, let me just play some video games here for a little while until I work up the courage to go knock on these doors. So I pull out my Palm Trio and I start playing Bejeweled 2. It's a game that was popular at the time. This would have been 2006, 2007. Anyways, I ended up playing that video game for, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, maybe an hour. And eventually I looked out the window and I looked at those doors that I was so anxious to go door knock on. And at the last second, I decided, you know what? It's just too painful. I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to drive back to the office. So I put away my phone. I put my car, in drive, and I head out and I go back to the office. I felt ashamed. I felt, unworthy of any type of success because I didn't have the guts to go out and door knock, a very simple task. But that's how shyness can be problematic for some salespeople, because it's robbing you of the opportunity to go out there and make an introduction, and it's robbing you of the opportunity to go out and network. And I can totally relate with anybody that's going through this because I am an introvert and I did have to work on those muscles of going out and introducing myself to people. So after feeling enough shame and enough disappointment in myself, the next day I decided to give it another go. So I drove back to the exact same street in front of the same properties. This time when I put my car in park, I did not take my phone out. I did not start playing video games. I just went out and I started knocking on some doors. I knocked on a few doors, nobody was home. I knocked on another door. The lady wasn't really interested in speaking with me. I knocked on another door, and then a lady answers the door. And she says, yes. And I said, hi, my name is Marty. I'm with Akira Realty. That was the name of the brokerage I worked at the time. And I said, I'm out here looking for our next listing. Have you thought about selling your property? That is probably the worst script you could ever use for door knocking. It's got no substance to it. But she looks at me and she says, hold on, I'm gonna go get my husband. Now at this moment, my mind is racing and I'm thinking, oh my God, this man is gonna come back to the front door. He's gonna be angry with me. He's gonna be saying, what are you doing door knocking, and bothering us with these questions about selling our property. If we wanted to sell our property, we would call you. And he comes back and he says, how did you know we were just talking about selling our home? We want to list our property. Long story short, I ended up getting that listing, selling it a few weeks later, making the commission, started making income in real estate from that client. It was one of my first deals after all. And that's the secret of the story here, is the point I'm trying to get across. Confidence will not build itself up. Confidence is not something that will appear, just overnight for you. You won't be hit in the head with confidence all of a sudden. You need to get into action to get confidence. Those two things go hand in hand. The more confidence you have, the more actions you'll be willing to take. But the more actions you take, the more confidence you will be able to build up for yourself. So I hope this story resonates with a few of you, but that's the way that I got over my shyness. It's tough for me to talk about this because, it's embarrassing, to say that I went to a property and I didn't get into action, because now I coach agents and I tell them, you need to get into action. But I hope that me sharing the end of the story of me getting the client can give you confidence. All right. Now, that's all you need to get started. Okay. You need to have faith that you will be okay. So whatever you are doing in your real estate business today or your sales business, here's my advice. Just get into action. So that'll be all for me today. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you're new here, I'm going to encourage you to go check out the rest of the videos on my channel. There's tons of tips and tricks there for new real estate agents and also experienced real estate agents that are looking to improve their career. And if you feel like we've earned it, leave a like on this video. Also, I'm going to invite you to comment on this video. Where are you from? Where are you selling real estate? How long have you been in the industry? There's a really cool community of realtors that is starting to form around this channel, and I really love interacting with each and every one of you. Okay, that's it for me this week. I will see you on the next video. Ciao.